back to the Lord of the Rings Res to War. This is Zane's Mobile. Today we're going to be going over the good side commander tier list and reviewing what our commanders are good in the current meta with all the new elite skills that's come out and with all the new elite units and units that have come out. So let's get right into it. So we're in the season 6 right now for the current meta, and I just want to quickly show you guys that I'm not a noob. I know what I'm talking about. I've unlocked all the tier 1 as well as tier 2 commanders in the game currently, and I've played every single one of them. Tier 3 I'm still working on. Obviously I'm not made of money, but I could give a fair assessment on all of them, how I've been seeing them doing in the current meta. So here is the season 6 tier list. Of course, this is very argumentative, and this is my tier list. And this is overall. This is how well commanders do against evil and good. So this isn't strictly this commander beats the crap out of evil all the time, but doesn't do good against good. I will be weighing everything like overall. So this is a very just all-around video for PvP only. This isn't about tile taking and stuff like that or fighting bosses. This is strictly PvP. So let's get right into the tier list. So we have our tier list here. It has evil commanders. I don't have the experience with evil commanders quite yet. I've experienced battling them, but I don't have an evil account, so I can't really do an evil tier list because I feel like if you haven't played evil, you shouldn't be doing those type of lists. But I've been playing good, and I've been playing good for the last 6 seasons, so let's get right into the tier list. So first on the tier list, we have King Aragon, King of Men. I like him. He's good versus evil, but versus good, I feel like he struggles a little bit. And he's a tier 3 as well, so it kind of sucks to see him struggle. I would have to put him not D. I'll put him C tier. I think he's good, but he's not great. And he's a tier 3, and of course, when it comes to tier 3 commanders, you'll see a lot of them lower on the list for me, because me as a player, I feel like tier 3s are harder to get, they're harder to upgrade, and they should hold a higher regard in the list. So if they're not performing well, they're going to be pretty low on my list. So King Aragon, definitely a C tier commander. If you unlock him, probably should just scrap his points, because he's not doing fantastic in the current meta. Next commander, Aragon the Second, which is a good follow-up. He's doing fantastic in the current meta as of right now, which is weird because they have similar skills, but Aragon actually, I would put him actually at A tier. With his initiative at his rank 5, literally just helps him a lot. And he does good damage. The only thing that's holding him back from, I think, an S tier position is that he's not a warrior. If he could do that extra damage and have that 10% more damage, I feel like he would definitely be in the S tier spot. But he's definitely outperforming his King version just because his King version is kind of all over the place. But he has a lot of good damaging perks that line up perfectly and give him a good damage boost. Next on the tier list, we have, let's do Brolin. So Brolin is, so I've seen builds with him that are good, but it's just, I don't think he's better than Gimli. So I've seen builds with him doing good, but you have to be, it's just like you have to set him up to be good. And even then, he's not like S tier, A tier, any of those rankings. So I'm going to put him at C tier because I just don't think he's good if you unlock him, but he's not going to do fantastic work for you in the PvP aspect. Next commander, we will do Thorin. Thorin, I would say, is definitely not S tier, but he's definitely a good A tier spot on the tier list. He does good versus all sides. Nothing to really complain about. He's just another damage commander. And you'll see a lot of damage commanders higher up on the tier list than, for the good side, than army buff commanders, because of the new buff, Rise Up, and the heavy shielding. So it just really has gotten making damage commanders a lot more viable in the meta because it improves their damage as well decreases the amount of damage. So it's very nice. Okay, next one we will do. Okay, we'll just go dump him right there. We'll just go dump that guy right there. let's do King of the Dead. King of the Dead is very unit specific. I put him right in the middle. So you have to build him. He takes a lot of work, and then when you do have him maxed out, King of the Dead, he could either destroy and lose very little, or he could lose a lot. And it just depends on who you're fighting. And I think with the new scouting thing where you could scout and see the first 2 layers, I think it does help him out a lot. But I just don't. I think with the gold expense that Oathbreakers cost, and you'd rather just put it towards upgrading your units, I'd have to leave him at B tier. I just don't think he's very good. Okay, next commander. It's just bump him right there. Okay, now this is one of the new Dwarven commanders that came out, I think in season 3 or 4. I can't remember. He's good, but I feel like with the other Dwarven units that are out there, it's just like Brolin and all that stuff. It's just really... It's just like if you have a tier 3 Dwarven commander, you're not really going to want him because... It's like, why do you need him? It's like you already have tier 3 commanders, and he does good, but I have to put him C tier because he only does good against good side versus evil side. Some of his perks are completely negated sometimes. Yeah, I have to leave him at C tier. Okay, next commander on the tier list, Legolas is always a good commander. I think I'd leave him at an A tier spot. I could put him S tier, but he is really good. No, I don't think he deserves S tier. I know he's good, but he's not that good. Yeah, Legolas definitely an A tier commander. Definitely one of the commanders you want to work on. Ironfoot. Now, Ironfoot is going to be very, very argumentative, but I think Ironfoot belongs in the A tier spot as well. The weakness that Ironfoot has is that even with the new elite buffs and stuff, is that he still struggles with keeping his army alive. But he still does do fantastic damage. But I just don't think... I would put him S tier if they didn't butcher and nerf shield training. If shield training was still a thing, he would be S tier along with a lot of the damage tier commanders. But since they nerfed shield training to make it one of the worst ones, and you have to rely on Rise Up and the Guardians for your front line, it's definitely left him A tier. Still a solid choice, but I don't think I could put him S tier on the list. Isildur, I think that's his name. If you have him maxed out and set up, he is an S tier, the commander. The new S tier, the new season 5, I think, commanders, which was him and her. I don't know her name. Isildur, definitely top tier when you get him up. I've seen some Isildur players that have him that are like, oh my god, he sucks. And it's like because you haven't built him right. And I saw some Isildur players are smashing. It's just, it takes time for you to figure out the build, but I've seen people have solid builds on him that are very good. This commander is a very good commander. Ori, I'd have to put in D tier. He's good. I had his special equipment unlocked, and I regret putting the points into it. Don't touch Ori. He's not very good. Let's see. Let's do Treebeard. So I am currently working on Treebeard, and I almost have him at rank 3. Right now, I would put him at D tier on his first tier list, but I know he gets more damage, and his ints are going to get more, and I know that's going to bump him up. But looking at his skills and his stats, I think that's going to put him B tier, just because of the special units you need, which is ints, to make him good. I think he's a B tier commander. Yeah, I'll put Treebeard at tier at rank B. He's definitely good, but he's not the best. Let's see. Eomer. I have him, and I love him to bits. He destroys good side. He destroys evil side. He's a solid commander. And the thing with him is that you could set him up. If you're fighting evil side, throw a madness immunity helmet on him. You could mess up Sauron's. If you're fighting Witch King, you just throw on the stun immunity and the burn chest piece, resistant chest piece, and you'll beat the crap out of them. Not like beat the crap, but you'll draw. And I think he's like the perfect balanced commander in the game. Like he does good army defense, good commander damage, and I think he's like a perfect balance, what the meaning of a balanced commander should be. Let's move on to the next one. He's A tier, by the way. Not S tier, not quite, because he still draws with a lot of the people, but he's still good. Frodo and Sam is obviously going to probably... I think they're fun for scouting, and it's fun. So I have to put them C tier. They're definitely fun. You don't use them like for PvP, but you use them for like scouting for a PvP, like messing somebody up. I definitely would put them as that because you just use some evasion units and you're good. You just do a little bit of damage and move on. Faramir is actually moved quite up on the tier list to tier S, but it takes a lot of work to get him to S tier. A lot of work. Okay, he's really good with his special equipment and really good with the new setup, that new elite unit skills. He merges really well with that. But you have to be careful because it takes a lot of work to get him to S tier. I know this is one of the controversies because, like, if it takes like a lot of work, but he's tier 1, so it shouldn't take like a lot of work like a tier 3 would. When I say a lot of work for a tier 1, I mean like you'll be devoting like a season or two getting him there. But he is worth it if you do. I'm currently working on him right now. Gandalf the Gray has definitely dropped for me. With the stun immunity, a lot of evil factions and a lot of players are running stun immunity just because of it. He's still a solid choice, but I think he's fallen down just because damage commanders still smack the crap out of him. And a lot of Witch King players will run stun immunity. I just have to leave him at B tier. He used to be A tier, but he definitely dropped down on the books for me as a good side player. Theoden, obviously S tier, should have been a tier 3. The fact that he's a tier 2 and you can upgrade him to an insane level and get him to he could be nuts. And I know even in the horse meta, how there was a lot of anti-cav units, he still does great. Whereas some of the cav units, some of the cavalry commanders have definitely fell in the book. But he's definitely held his own just because he's just how insane his perks are compared to the other two cav commanders. But he still held his own really good. Yeah, and the fact that you could upgrade it because he's tier 2, so it's like you could upgrade him to like level 10, rank 10, rank 15, if not all the way, if you're going to drop some cash. Definitely worth it. Working on him right now. I got him to rank 12. I got him to 6. I'm waiting until he gets to 8 before I start switching the equipment over to Theoden. Next commander will be Radagast the Brown. So I've seen him, and I actually think he's S tier. I know a lot of people's like, oh my god, Radagast the Brown sucks. When you set him upright, he is a wall. His healing is absolutely nuts, especially with the new elite skills. You could get his healing to like 200k a game, okay? And then he has a bunch of damage resistance. Now, he doesn't do hardly any damage to the enemy army. He's like death by 1,000 cuts, okay? He's a lot like Gandalf, except for Gandalf does damage resistance, he does healing and damage resistance. I know Gandalf does about 50k with healing, if you had him set up that way, but he does damage resistance and a lot of healing. I've done right around, no, I haven't done it, but a friend of mine has done 168,000 HP, and that's a lot of HP to recover with all that damage resistance, and he only lost like 1,000 troops, but he didn't do a lot of damage either. But it's really weird how he works. But I think he's S tier just because of that. Let's go ahead and look in Sea Elf. Let's just put him there. There we go. Boromir, he's okay. He's not the worst choice. If you're starting the game and have no money, he'll do solid work for you. But don't expect him to be taking out a lot of commanders. But he'll still do fine for you. Gandalf the White is a tier 3, and I see him struggle, but I see him do so good. He's such a weird commander for me. I think he's B tier. I don't know if it's because he's tier 3 and he's hard to get to a good position, and a lot of the Gandalf the White players, but I have to leave him on B tier because I think all the battle reports that I've seen with him, he wins, but then there's a lot where he loses too, or just draws. And I fought one with my Aomor, and I beat the crap out of a gold tier one. Not like I didn't beat. I drew with him like it was a draw. Like lost the same amount of HP and troops, but he was gold, and my Aomir definitely not gold. Yeah, I don't think Gandalf the White is worth it. Graduel, I can't remember. I can't pronounce her name. I think she's fallen down in the meta. She's still a good tier. She used to be S tier, but I think she's a solid A tier as of right now in the meta. She got some good healing, good damage, but in the current meta, I think she's dropped in the tier list for sure. Yeah, she's definitely dropped in the new meta with the new elite skills. Holgan or Hargan, I don't know how to pronounce him. He's bad. Don't touch him. He's not meant for PvP. Merry and Pippin actually are in D tier. They're solid, but I know if you get their equipment and stuff, they jump up to C. But it's like don't do that. Okay, don't do that. Just don't touch them. They're just leave them doing what they do. Let's do Grimly and get him. He's a B tier. He does good, but like I said, if you have any of the tier 3 commanders, Dwarven commanders, they'll do better. And then there's some like Legolas does more damage than him. There's just better damage commanders than him. Even he does more commander damage than him if you set him up as a commander damage. So I have to leave him at B tier. He's still solid. He'll still do better than these two. That's about it. Haldir definitely goes up in A tier. I'm enjoying him quite a bit. He's a tier 1 commander that has definitely been solid. He takes a lot of work, but you could get him there. And what I love about Haldir is that he does as much damage as he takes. So his army will have 200,000 HP because you can't get to high levels with elves. And he'll dish out. And you see him get wiped a lot, right? But you'll see him do 200,000 damage, but receive 200,000 damage. Yeah, you get off the tile, but it's like... And I guess, right, he doesn't win all the battles, but there's some battles where he does. I think B tier, yeah, just because of that. But I like Haldir. He's a solid commander. He does just as much damage as he takes, and that's what I love about him. Let's do King of the Wood Realm. He's good, but he's not fantastic. He's definitely in a B tier spot. Like I said, a lot of tier 3s are really going to be low on my list just because they're tier 3. They take more to upgrade. And the fact, even if they're at max level, it's like if they're still not performing good, then they just don't go on my tier list that high for me. He's one of those commanders. He doesn't do fantastic even at max level. He still does good work, but the fact that he takes that much effort, he's a tier 3. It's not worth it. He's not worth it. He, however, is fantastic. His only weakness is evasion. If someone has pursuit, he definitely could drop right down to probably like C tier if you fight someone with pursuit. But if they don't have pursuit, you're fine. You're at S tier. He's a solid commander. I love him a lot. Let's do... I think he's going to fall into... Come on, Elrond, where are you going? I think he's better than... I think he's good. No, he's not that good. No, he's not that good. He definitely goes right here for me. B tier. I like him, but I feel like I said again, tier 3 takes a lot of work to get up there. It's going to play a huge part on my tier list. And even if he has that, it has like rank 5, it still struggles a lot, I think, on the battlefield versus the large variety of the commanders on the top tier list. Let me just state this real quick. S tier and A tier are good. Any B tier and anything under are going to always struggle against anything up here. This gap between A and B is huge. Like the power gap you'll notice between A and B is probably about like a 40% power gap, I would say, between these guys. And I just don't think he breaks that power gap. I think he's still stuck right down here. I like him. When he came out, I put a lot of money into him, and I regret it, and I want to put him bad, but he's not bad. He's okay. He performs a little less than you would like him to do, but he does buff his army to like, especially in the new meta, like to like 106, like 120% damage increase, and it drops down to about a 90% damage increase after the 4 rounds is up. But I just feel that if you can't get him initiative, if you could get this guy initiative all the time without having to put those 7 skill points into I can't remember what that 7-point skill tree is. It's like a 75% for elves to gain initiative. I can't remember what it's called, but even if you got that, you probably could break that barrier. But I don't like it. I'd rather put points in Boon and have that chance of that 20%. Nah, yeah, it's just I can't. He has to stay there. He, however, could go to S tier. He is a solid tier 1 for a tier 1 to how much fast you could upgrade him, the equipment you could use. He doesn't, and I love him. He does solid damage. He's definitely a good pick. That's why he's at S tier for me, because he just does so much damage with so little upgrading necessary. He's a solid commander that you don't need to dump a lot of points into, and he's already going to do well for you. And the fact that you could fight a Witch King and all that stuff and still do good against a large variety just makes him S tier for me. He does good versus a large variety of commanders. Now, he's not top tier by any means, but he is still an A tier commander, I believe. Yeah. Because he does struggle to do that higher tier damage that some of these other damage commanders can do. Okay, yeah, let's just put him right there. He's really good with, he's S tier. Definitely an S tier commander. But you have to get him to rank 5, and you have to play Lothlorien which is a specific faction. If you're not playing Lothlorien and he's not at rank 5, he quickly dumps to D tier. But if you get him set up the right way, which he's tier 2, so it's not incredibly hard to do, you should be able to get him to S tier, no problem, with March Wardens, and be able to just delete people. It's really, and he does well against evil and good. I love that his madness and his stun for the first few rounds is really good. So I definitely leave him at S tier. Last and final is Mrs. Waifu, and she, I think, goes C tier. No, in PvP she's D tier. In PvP, she's good at tile taking, but when she starts taking some serious damage, she just can't keep up with that damage output. No, at rank 5 she can. Yeah, I think she's C tier. When you get a rank 5, she could definitely hold her own, but I just don't think she's going to topple. I don't see her beating any of the commanders above her. I don't. I see her being able to beat these guys and compete with some of these guys, but I don't see her beating Haldir, Grimly, Gandalf. I don't see her beating any of those guys. And just for that, I have to leave her at C tier. Okay. That's my list. This is for the good side, tier 3. This is Zane's Mobile. So if you guys liked or agree with this list, let me know. Obviously, let me know if I skipped something, if there's some unique equipment on a tier 2 that I'm just overlooking, then let me know. Because this is what I've been seeing with my experience on the battlefield currently in the meta. So if you have any of these commanders, obviously dump points into them. They'll do good for you. If you have any of these commanders, they will also do good for you. These commanders are, if they are your only one, you could definitely put points into them. They'll do solid for you. But anything underneath this, I would just recommend not wasting your time. Because, I got him and got his accessory, wasted time. I got him and got him to rank 10 and wasted time. Wish I could take that back, but I can't. I even got him to a good rank. I think like rank 8. I really wish I would have dumped that into, just put it right into him. But yeah, that's my tier list. If you guys agree or disagree, let me know. I think this is a solid tier list for the current meta with all the elite unit skills. So this is Zane's Mobile. Thank you guys. Like and subscribe. I'm out.